Well, hello, my soul friends. It's Victoria with another video. And can you guess what this one is on? I tend to do a video a week, and I do follow the cycles of the moon. So this video is about the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio, which is another way of saying a new moon in Scorpio on steroids. So before I dive into my take on this cycle of La Luna, let's just take a moment together to just take a breath and breathe in and claim this space, this time, this moment for a reset and to ground and to tether into some trust. And I think this is what we all need right now, always, but especially as we are moving towards this partial solar eclipse. You may already be feeling it. The deep waters of Scorpio may be already drawing up some shadowy material for you to review. You may feel the waves of transformational energy flowing through you. So let's just ground into what holds us, our faith, trust, whatever you need to be here with me in this moment. And coming on back, I really needed to do that. I'm actually preparing for a women's workshop tomorrow. I haven't taught one live in person since 2020, right? So I'm excited because I have so much material and I have 6 hours. I'm having to condense it. And so I'm just running around and excited, but also my own, material is coming up, as I mentioned. So I'm going to talk more about that, what it's like to be in Scorpio season, because that's what a new moon really does. It announces we are officially in the season of Scorpio on the 25th, but technically it starts on the 23rd. There's so much going on. I am going to just try to just tune in to what's most important connected to the moon. But my goodness, maybe some of you who follow astrology have been hearing buzz about the Venus star point, Venus Cazimi. I do want to give a shout out right away before I get started on what I have to say, because I don't know much about this. I'm intrigued by it. I'll tell you, the more you think you understand astrology, the more you realize you don't know a lot. and I think that's the truth for all, anything that you're learning and growing in. There's never an end point, especially with astrology. There's just so much constant evolution in the learning of it and the evolving of it. And I do follow evolutionary astrology and archetypal astrology, and therefore, it's there's a lot to comprehend. So I can't cover it all for you, but I do want to encourage you because it's such a cool thing. I'll just read a little blurb, and then I'll send you off to the woman who I think is sort of the one that's done the most research about this, Ariel Gutman, to her website. She also has a YouTube channel. I haven't even checked it out because I just haven't had time this week, but go check it out. Get more information. This is a really cool thing. I'm just going to read this little blurb, then we're going to go on to Scorpio season. So on October 22nd, 2022, cool number, by the way, right? For the first time in 150 years, the Venus star will enter the sign of Libra. The slowly moving rotational star clock of Venus transits through a sign of the zodiac at various intervals in history, spending 100 years in a sign on average. What? I mean, it's just amazing. And then you just have to go check out her website. So it's a really unique, beautiful occurrence. It's amplifying, from what I gather, amplifying, Venus is at home in Libra, this beautiful flow of love, and that we all need to be lifted up in love during these times, for sure. But I can't do it justice. So I'm going to send you off to her website and come back to my, as my friend Julia Anderson calls it, wheelhouse zone of genius. That's what she calls it, zone of genius. So first of all, let me just pause again and say hello and welcome to my channel if you're new to this channel. And if you've recently subscribed, I really do appreciate all the comments and feedback I've been getting and emails. And I had over 10 or 11 requests for consults on my last video, which I'm happy to say I'm just about through connecting with all of you who wanted a consultation, who, so that was fun. And also, not a bad problem to have, because I was like so busy all of a sudden. And it was just fun though, reaching out to meeting all these new people. So thank you all for being here. Subscribe if you haven't, like and comment if you're called. Comments, from what I understand, helps drive my channel out into the algorithm, out into the deep waters of YouTube, reaching people all over the world, really. I heard from lots of people on my last video and a few others. So thank you, thank you, thank you. My intention here on the Soul Nurture channel is to share from my heart and my soul to yours, something that I've gathered on my journey as a healer, as a hypnotherapist, as a soul guide, as a spiritual director, many different transformational hats I wear. And as a wounded healer, this really struck a chord with a lot of people last time. Identifying the archetype of wounded healer in myself and acknowledging I will never be a perfect healer, for I'm a wounded healer. I have soul medicine that I've cultivated over my years on this earth, addressing my own wounds and learning techniques that help others heal theirs and deal with life as it is in the human experience. So I really like to stress that, because I think that we're finally coming out of the shadow of perfection, of having to look or be a certain way in order to have something to contribute or offer. And listen, I'm the first to say I'm perfectly imperfect. I make mistakes all the time. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. So make peace with making mistakes. Learn and grow. That's what we're here to do in Earth School, right? So first of all, happy birthday. It's solar return season for Scorpios, and I am one of them. My birthday is on November 7th. So happy birthday to my sisters and my brothers out there. I know that we often get a bad reputation as Scorpios. I'm going to talk a little bit about Scorpios in general, because that's where the sun and the moon are, and Venus. Oh my, such great blessing on this new moon. So what do you know about Scorpios? Scorpios out there, what have you heard that you go, not me, like, let's bust some myths right here. I know that that's how I got into astrology, or I think I was intrigued by it when I was like younger, like 14. I was interested in astrology with my mom. It's like one of my sacred memories with my mom. She died when I was 17, and this is the memory I go to most of the time, and that is her opening up the paper and reading our horoscopes. My mom was a Taurus and I'm a Scorpio. Later in life, I learned we were in opposition, but love my mom dearly. And it just planted that seed in my heart of something special about astrology. This beautiful gift, I believe, from Creator that helps us in a practical way navigate our human experience. And I know there's a lot of woo-woo and magic around astrology. I often say I'm not woo-woo. I might be woo. So I'm not really into astrology for the, and I love the rituals and all the stuff that goes around the lunar cycles. But it's just like, for me, it's like, I want to know what the weather is today. Is it sunny? Is it going to rain? I want to know what the astrological weather is, so I know how to navigate. And that's what I love to help my clients with. Also, to know what our soul purpose is, which is, to me, right there in our chart. Right there we see our wounds. Right there we see our gifts. And that is our, our blueprint and our guidance. So one of the things when I think I was like 14, 15, when I started getting that, oh, you're a Scorpio. I'm like, what does that mean? What's a Scorpio? And this sort of like judgment about the Scorpio sting and the Scorpio intensity. And yes, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto in modern day, and also by Mars. The ancient ruler was Mars. So both are, part of the Scorpio energetic makeup. So yeah, those are two heavy weights. Mars, the warrior, Pluto, the one that is able to take us into the shadow, to the underworld, into all the depths. And yes, Scorpio likes depth. You can't talk to Scorpios about the weather in general. They want to understand the deeper symbolic reference there, right? So the sting, though, that's a classic. Don't mess with the Scorpio. Truthfully, I think that applies more to Moon in Scorpio, because Moon is our emotional nature, and if you hurt Scorpio Moon, you're gonna get a barb response. You're gonna get a sting in general, or they'll seethe, or they'll cut you off, and that you'll be done with. They'll be done with you. So yeah, a lot of ideas about Scorpio that may or may not be true. And here's the thing: remember this, that's just our sun sign, where our moon, our rising, and the rest of our chart, how it plays out for us. We are all unique souls animating through a unique chart. So we can't really pigeonhole anyone or put them in a box. We can look for corresponding things that are, patterns. That's what astrology is for me, really. It's pattern recognition. And in transformation, which is another Scorpio keyword, with transformation, that is the first step of transformation: awareness, recognizing what you're doing or what you're not doing. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when I tell you about my intuitive take on this time of the year. So, Scorpio is connected to the underworld, to the shadowy world. And maybe that's why people are maybe scared of Scorpios, because they're not afraid of talking about the shadows or calling out a shadow. Or maybe they are the recipient of someone's shadow, because they're really a space holder for transformation. Scorpio rules the 8th house in a chart, and that is the house of the shaman, and death and transformation. And all kinds of, the 8th house is a really fascinating house. But, you may know a Scorpio, and I wonder if you're a Scorpio, what resonates with you. We do have a pretty, like a guard. We're more of the observers watching. And, I used to say, and I still do, that the good news about being a Scorpio is that I can see and feel everything. And this applies to empaths in general, but I can see and feel everything. And the bad news is I can see and feel everything. Ugh. And sometimes it's really hard. Have to learn how to let go, shed, and clear that from your being, from your energetic field, from your mind, from your heart, especially if you're a tender Scorpio like I am. So I think if Scorpios are like the human lie detector. You cannot lie to a Scorpio. And that's really important, because what I am feeling into with this partial solar eclipse in Scorpio, conjuncting Venus, we can no longer lie to ourselves about our relationship with self, or how we're taking care of ourselves or not, and our relationship with others. I'm going to get to that more in a minute. Got a lot to cover, and I want to squeeze it in a nice little bite-sized chunk, and I'm already at 13 minutes. So hang with me, people. Come back and watch more later if you need to. I've got a lot to unfold. So great investigators, therapists, death doulas, grief counselors, which I was one for a certain time, connected to transformation and rebirthing self and others. Scorpios out there, can I hear from you? Scorpio rising, moon, or sun? How many transformational cycles have you gone through? How many rebirthing have you gone through? It's like, I think I talked to an astrologer years ago, and he said, I think I was in my 30s, and he said, have you made peace with having to go through so many transformational cycles? And at the time I was like, not yet. Do I have to? He's like, you're going to have to. So that is the truth for us Scorpios. It's like, here we go again, a time to shed and a time to rise up from the ashes, right? And this is where we are collectively. This is an individual experience for Scorpios, but collectively, especially on this new moon, the partial solar eclipse. So let's see. So I'm going to get into this. I did want to say, about Scorpio, mystery, connected to mystery and depth and delving, diving underneath the appearance of things. So we're all invited into these deep waters of Scorpio, of the mystery, and it's all purposeful. Remember when I talk about astrology? Everything that's unfolding, it's amazing. I was going to go back and just talk about last week's transits that are leading up to this, but it just takes so much time to do this. But trust me, and you probably felt some intensity. Pluto was in the mix, and we're moving into the Plutonian waters of Scorpio. Intensity, dredging up things for us to look at again. Yes, again. But the power is in this time, in this solar eclipse, which new moons are typically a time when we're like, oh, I get to set intentions. I get to create, plant some new seeds of possibilities. I get to start all over again. But because it is a partial eclipse, there'll be new beginnings, but first there'll be endings. And that's like, if I had to condense this video to just that, that would be it. Be willing, be ready, be prepared for endings that will lead to new beginnings. Now, not in a shocking way. Most things that will come to a culmination or an end, which we associate with the full moon, it's like, you already know, oh yeah, that had to change. I think I talked last video about some huge dietary changes I had to make. And they are continuing. Like, my body is like, and this is a little woo-woo, but I do think I'm going through a huge energetic shift. And there are just some things that do not work for me anymore, including, I like to have wine with dinner. I can't even do that anymore. It just doesn't work for my body. Maybe it's fine tuning. And that is what all of us are being called to in this season. And I say season because, you probably, and let me know if you are in the comments, are already feeling this partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. Scorpio is probably already rising some stuff, shining a bright light on, and again, we think of bright lights connected to full moon, illuminating, but because this eclipse is really getting us prepared for the lunar eclipse, the full moon in Taurus, in 2 weeks. We're getting prepared for that. So eclipse season, it's connected to karma, to there was a quote I wanted to share and I couldn't find the origin of it, but that's it. I don't remember. Oh, eclipses are the harbingers of change. They usher in evolution. Personal, individual evolution, evolving to our higher potential, contributing to the collective evolution of higher potential. Okay, and I Googled it and I couldn't find the creator of that. If you know, please put it in the comments. So, in ancient times, this is, I think, I took a wonderful class with Travis DeRuzza. I studied with Travis and his beautiful wife, Jessica, and they're amazing teachers, and I highly recommend any of their classes. But he teaches a class on the history of astrology, which was fantastic, so rich, so deep. I still have to go and review even more, but what I got from there was this real feeling of what it was like for our ancient ancestors beginning to become aware of the celestial movements and the correspondence to human life as it was unfolding. And I just feel that with eclipses, it like connects us back to our heritage, our ancestors of, we're standing on the shoulders of those who lived through so much. And this sort of energetic wisdom offered to us, and those who actually did the hard work of capturing the correspondence and writing books about astrology and what happens during these times. And so in ancient times, it was really, very, I imagine, scary seeing the moon shifting so much. There's some artifacts that track, tracking the reign of kings based on the eclipses. So they were definitely more, people were probably more scared and came with more intensity. But now, in our modern times, we know that these are just turning points. That these are, I think of them as, yes, there's intense energy. Yes, there's amplified energy. Yes, there's more to review and look at. But it comes as a gift, all astrology does, everything unfolding in nature does, okay? So this is where trust comes in big time. So, like I said earlier, new moons represent new beginnings, but this eclipse aspecting the South Node, which is about letting go. So how are we doing with letting go, folks? This is another, again, awareness is in transformation and being willing to let go, surrender, shed is a word that's connected to Scorpio, shedding, alchemizing all the old stuff into something new that wants to be birthed through us. So this is really, endings lead to new beginnings. I just did this downloaded post on Instagram, and follow me there if you haven't yet. It's I Am the Soul Nurturer. I don't post as often as I used to, but when I get a download like I got today, it goes right there for all of us to consider. I call them my soul musings. Sometimes I get them and they don't make sense to me, so I just put them out there and see if they touch and connect to anybody, and I hope they do. That is the purpose of this. I think I was saying that earlier. Why am I here? It's just to really, on my heart was in 2020, I didn't want anyone to feel alone out there. And I didn't want anyone to feel like they were struggling with something that nobody else was experiencing. I wanted to normalize the transformational cycle. And I wanted to normalize that sometimes we struggle just before a breakthrough. And I wanted to normalize rising with our potential and power. And power is another word for Scorpio. I completely missed it. Power, our personal power. And that is part of this time, because I think there are some power struggles happening right now within yourself, within the old way and the new way, probably with others, a power struggle. And I kept getting this yesterday. I was thinking about, this is kind of my technique. I think about the astrology for a couple days and I sit with it, and then I get what I call soul musings, like I'll get images or I'll get little phrases. And then I have to kind of go, okay, what does that mean? So I kept getting this tug of war, seeing actually a literal tug of war. And I was trying to figure out, what is that? What is that? Oh, power struggle. So where are you in a power struggle? Remember, the power struggle is wanting to emerge more of your purpose and potential, and trust that each person is doing that too. So we may not agree, but we can honor that there is an emergence happening through us individually towards the collective emergence. But this phrase came to me, that this is the time to let go of what's no longer serving or continue to be dragged by it. Okay. And I think some of you might understand what that means. If you're holding on too tightly to something that you've already identified is not for you, it's not helping, it's in fact, it may be hurting you. Addictions, patterns, relationships. If your rebirthing is requiring you to make way to bring forward what is yours to bring forward, and if it's blocked, it's time to release that block. Okay, so I mentioned this too, this partial solar eclipse new moon, which is sun conjunct moon, is also conjuncting Venus, and this sets us up for possible. And again, possible, I'm not forecasting, I'm saying possible, might rain, get your umbrella, might thunderstorm. Here, there might be some lightning bolts that wake you up out of a slumber. That's more Uranus, but we still have the Saturn-Uranus square going on. So possible shifts in relationships, because it's connected to Venus, it's connected to our money. Could be shifts with money, what we value, our creativity. We might just get a burst of insight for something new that we want to do creatively, or creatively tackle a problem we haven't dealt with. And a new, there's where the new moon energy can come in, revealing something that can be changed. And it's about how we love, who we love, what we love, and all of that love stuff. Remember, with that Venus star point energy too, feels like we're going to have some microscopic clarity in matters of the heart. Yeah. And that piece about acknowledging what no longer works. And this is really, really, really important. No longer settling for close enough. Close enough doesn't work. It's like, and I think it was in one of my posts today, oftentimes in love, or even with what we're doing in life with our mission, our purpose, it's close enough. It's good enough. But close enough. Now I have this image right now of like close enough is like the real path is right around the corner, but we're going to stop here close enough because some of my needs are met. It's working okay. And, and it's a time to get really, I love that phrase that came to me, microscopic clarity, because that's what Scorpio offers. Blinders are off. You're going to see more than you want to see. So pace yourself with some compassion, with grace, with acceptance for self and others. But this is a time when you're really going to see more, and be clear on what it is you desire, and be willing to stand in your power, to find your truth, to be really super honest with yourself. So again, I had written, transformation requires acknowledging what no longer works. And then, this is key. And then practicing in the new beliefs and patterns that work better and that are aligned with your soul potential. Remember, just to give a little hypnotherapy reference, we are working on subconscious programmed material that began before we were even born, before we're even in the world, when we're in utero, when we're in our mom's inner emotional climate. We are already acclimating, becoming conditioned to this human experience. And then we're downloaded with all these, ways of being that our parents did in our family of origin, and generated beliefs about ourselves that were based on external references rather than soul truth. So eclipses help us. Yes, we're eclipsed for sure, but in the darkness, we can find the light to illuminate new ways of being that are more aligned with our soul potential. And this is all that we're here for, to reconnect to our soul potential, to bring our unique gifts, to bring our purpose into this world. So practicing new patterns that work better, that are aligned with what your soul potential is and what you desire. Ultimately, this is a huge energetic redirect. So you may be on the wrong path right now. And so don't think of, I posted this the other day, change is not hard, it's different. And so we can't expect something different if we're going to keep doing the same thing, right? I mean, it's as simple as that and as hard as that, because most of our subconscious programming, if it's not aligned with where we want to go, it's going to keep taking us back to where we don't want to be and what we don't want to be experiencing anymore. So that's what I have for you, my friends. Some significant shifts, but trust they will be like directing you where your soul wants you to go. So you've been growing through some things, and just be aware of the shifting that's trying to happen. I don't know why I have this image. So I'm going to just say it and see what it means. We can no longer be ostriches. Ostriches? Is that how you say it? I'll tell you the image I have. The birds that put their head in the sand. No, can't do that right now. This is an important time to really stand in your purpose and your power. Lift your head up, look around your world, look around your life, look around on the inside and say, ooh, what do I need to shed that is not not going to help me get to where I'm going? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to, or how do I need to trust what the universe, God, creator is trying to do with me in answer to my prayer, in answer to a vision, and in response to my soul potential, trying to help me birth in what is possible, what all of us are trying to birth in, that is possible for us individually and collectively. I think that's it. I think I could go all day on this subject, but I think I'm going to wrap it up right now. Thank you for being with me. I'm always honored for any moment you spend with me. I don't know. Last time I had like 4,000 views. I don't know. Does that mean you watched the whole video? So again, comment if you watched the video. I do appreciate when people tell me something I said at the end, because I know you watched the whole thing, and maybe make some popcorn, have a cup of tea. But I love to know people are with me. That my goal has been reached. If I help one person out there, that is sufficient. And I'm always grateful to do that. Tell me what you took away from this video. If it's your birthday, again, happy birthday. Let me know your birthday day. Let me know where you're viewing from. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Sending love to all of you and to wherever it is needed. Remember the old cliche, it's getting so old, but so very true. We are truly all in this together. Your healing is my healing. My healing is your healing. We're contributing to something greater and higher, evolving through us individually for the future. Okay, all my love. Take good care. Until next time, thank you.